A lot of you guys have heard me talk about relational anarchy as a kind of strategy to produce or help create more freedom. In reality, relational anarchism is not just a strategy. Strategies involve the use of empathy, nonviolent communication, assessing body language, keeping our own awareness intact, or using psychological mindedness. Those are strategies or tools in the tool belt of a relational anarchist. Relationalism, as it stands, is not just a strategy, it is a new vector or standalone anarchist philosophy under the umbrella of anarchism. Therefore, it harbors its own structure and its own thought process in regards to helping convince people that anarchism is the proper direction. It is a non-economic and apolitical and amoral perspective on producing an anarchistic society. And I just made a post that essentially said that this is the structure of anarchism. This is the particular vector in anarchist thinking that has been absent within the philosophy as a whole. There have been very few people who have tried to bring in the insights of counseling psychology, of experimental psychology, and neurology directly into the movement of anarchism proper. Therefore, it's my hope that we can use this knowledge and these insights to completely build onto the structure of relational anarchism. Now, I came up with the base formulation, I think, or the starting point for this philosophy. But if it has any value, if you see value in this particular vector of anarchism, if it's meaningful to you, if you're able to relate to it, so to speak, and you think that you want to put it into your awareness, or this is the type of anarchism that you associate most closely with, you might be able to help me add on to this philosophy to further build this philosophy. Because I think that it has a lot of power and it has a lot of influence. Why do we know this? Because psychologically, humans are social animals. We are animals that require strong attachment bonds with other humans. It has been said by some neurologists and some social psychologists that the human brain is a social organ that is geared to wire itself based on environmental stimuli, especially from our early caregivers. And this is the primary facet of attachment psychology or attachment theory. The idea behind it is that we want to have a secure base to explore the world from and to be able to grow as a result of. And that is extremely important, and in my mind it's a tragedy that no one has really considered these ideas and started to merge them into the anarchist movement, because I think that we can really employ these ideas to add a new edge to the anarchist doctrine. And this is also especially true and especially important in today's environment when these ideas are completely ignored and these other anarchist economic and moral and logical avenues are embraced, because a lot of the people who simply embrace these aspects and embrace the logic, reasoning, morality, and economics factors forget about the emotional factors, and so their rhetoric is tinged with hostility, right? And we already know from psychology that employing hostility, calling people names, backbiting, fomenting drama, none of these things are productive in our ultimate goal for producing the stateless society. They're counterproductive, they're counterintuitive. Whenever we cause people to close off as a result of being assholes or not trying to cater to their needs to any degree whatsoever, they are likely going to wall themselves in, and they're going to consider anarchism as the philosophy of assholes, or the philosophy that assholes tend to employ most readily. That's why I think that as a relational anarchist, we should use the tools in our tool belt, these empathy tactics, these connecting tactics, these paying attention to processes tactics, in order to help bring about the stateless society. So, yeah, in a way, relational anarchism is a strategy, but really it's a philosophy that's based on a certain kind of character or a certain type of personality that an individual has cultivated. And that's where the structure and the function for this more beautiful presentation of the anarchist philosophy really flows from. And I'm just so happy that I'm going to be able to articulate these ideas to many different crowds and to many different audiences as the future goes on. I'm also happy to tell you guys that I have started trying to piece together the book on this subject so that there's really the broad strokes and the broad overview exist in one complete volume. But yeah, I mean, this is so great to have these relational ideas in mind, especially if you don't jibe with the more economic, the more logical, and the more moral approaches, or you prefer to have a mixture of ideas so as to balance out the current strategies plus the current philosophies that exist under the lexicon or within the lexicon of anarchism proper.